Awesome. Well, hey, everyone. Welcome to the Best Boys Film Club. My name is Michael, and I'm here with Cody Geijer. We're also joined by clip farmer Calvin. Unfortunately, our other producer, Oliver, could not be here today. He had a little vet emergency. I think everything will be okay, though. But dude, shout out to Jeff because she is the GOAT. Well, anyway, wanted to talk about just the podcast in general first to kind of set up the main themes. Obviously, Cody and I are very good friends, so we wanted to have a little theme in the first movies that we talk about to relate to some sort of buddy movies. So for my pick, because each time it's going to be I pick a movie, then Cody picks a movie, and so on and so on. Hopefully in there one time we can get Oliver and Calvin to make some suggestions. But for my first thing, to pick up a whole podcast about just buddies talking about film, I picked my favorite buddy movie, Lethal Weapon, which is also just one of my favorite movies in general. So I wanted to, before we dive into the movie, because even though I know our main listeners, who consist of my mom, know this movie, that's pretty much all of our listener fan base right now. My mom, shout out to Dabney. So she knows this movie, but in case anyone who for some reason clicked on a movie podcast about Lethal Weapon and doesn't know Lethal Weapon, I want to give a quick rundown of the film. Reading off IMDb's blurb, which is a pretty bad blurb. It is: two newly paired cops who are complete opposites must put aside their differences in order to catch a gang of drug smugglers. That's really boring. We're going to break the plot down a little bit more because that was just a really bland way to describe that entire film.
Yeah, really buries the lead on how 80s insanity.
Yeah, exactly.
This movie can get.
So this movie came out in 1987 and was directed by Richard Donner. Richard Donner is, I don't think he's underrated because I think everyone respects his films, but I feel like people need to talk about him more or should mention him more in general, because he did Lethal Weapon, which is a defining action movie in general. He did the original Christopher Reeve Superman. He did The Omen and The Goonies. So yeah, as you said, he has like a really wide net of movies and also kind of like the pinnacle of those movies in each respective genre.
He's kind of got like a John Cazale run.
Yeah,
like John Cazale was in 5 movies. They were all nominated for Best Picture. He was a standout role in every single one of them. And all of Richard Donner's movies, they're classics in their respective genres.
Yeah, he reminds me of Rob Reiner in certain ways, because that's how I think of Rob Reiner as well.
Yeah, like that 80s run.
Yeah, just making like staples of the genre in pretty much every different genre. So Richard Donner is amazing. Lethal Weapon is amazing. Want to mention that it's written by Shane Black, who is pretty much kind of, in my opinion, like the king of like buddy cop comedies, because he has Lethal Weapon. He wrote The Nice Guys and also Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, which I guess Kiss Kiss Bang Bang and Nice Guys are pretty like acclaimed movies, but just like no one's really, casual audiences haven't really seen them.
The Nice Guys,
they're very film bro movies.
Yeah. Nice Guys got blown out of the water by Angry Birds that weekend. So nobody.
By Angry Birds?
Yeah, they came out the same day.
That's crazy. I guess they're competing over the same demographic, right? Children love Russell Crowe action comedies in the 70s around the adult film scene.
Yeah.
But I guess Angry Birds just beat them to the punch. Anyway, so to break down, to, I guess, improve upon IMDb's synopsis, we'll give a little synopsis of our own. Essentially, this film follows Danny Glover as Richard Murtaugh. Danny Glover, by the way, just came right out of The Color Purple.
Roger Murtaugh.
What did I say?
You said Richard.
Oh,
there's
yeah,
a
Roger
joke
Murtaugh.
later on where Mel Gibson says Roger.
Oh, yeah.
Like all right. But he goes, what? Murtaugh goes, what?
There's like an airplane bit too, kind of.
Yeah.
Anyway, Danny Glover his breakout performance is really The Color Purple. And if you've seen The Color Purple, you know Danny Glover played a very terrible abuser in that film. Well, he is the exact opposite in this movie. He's pretty much, in my opinion, like the ideal suburban family man. He is he's planning on retiring sometime like within that month.
Yeah.
Probably closer, honestly.
Yeah, he's kind of got like a midlife crisis, like I'm going to retire type of thing. He buys a boat.
Yeah, he does buy a boat.
Doesn't know what the hell's going on with it.
Yeah, they take it to the water like once in all 4 movies. And I think there's a running joke where everything like that Murtaugh owns gets destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the boat gets destroyed in like the opening scene of the 4th movie.
Okay, that doesn't shock me.
No, it's an awesome running gag. So anyway, Murtaugh, family man, he wants to retire. He's been in the police force probably his entire career. Everything's going well. It's his birthday. His family loves him. He's about to retire. Then all of a sudden, they partner him up with Riggs, who's played by a man with 0 controversies, a man that everyone loves as an art and an artist. Mel Gibson plays Riggs in this film, and he's insane.
Yeah.
So maybe there's a little bit of method acting in there.
he took a little bit of Riggs home with him for sure.
Yeah. But Riggs is a lot nicer.
I don't know Mel Gibson in real life. I mean,
you think he's nicer than Riggs? Riggs' best friend is Danny Glover.
Yeah, I mean the rants, the Mel Gibson.
Yeah, he went on pretty crazy rants.
Not very nice.
No. Yeah, I mean, people listening, I think most people are familiar with the majority of Mel Gibson's controversies.
They've heard the phone call probably.
Yeah. And like the body cam footage. Whatever. So Danny Glover as Murtaugh, he's the ideal family man, about to retire. Then he gets partnered with this loose cannon Riggs, who's played by Mel Gibson. Riggs's character is this special ops guy, very much a loose cannon. His wife just died relatively recently. They talk about it more in the sequels, the cause of her death, but we know he very much loved his wife. He's extremely depressed. I can't. Is it the very first scene? No, it's not the first scene.
The very first scene is
he's in the Christmas tree lot.
No, it's
with Riggs. I'm talking about specifically.
Oh, with Riggs. Oh yeah.
I think
he goes and does that. He beats up Anthony Kiedis' dad. And then we get him at night alone.
Yeah.
Watching
just because you mentioned that, I want to quickly mention the Anthony Kiedis' dad thing, because that's like one of the fun facts I have written down. If you know who Anthony Kiedis is, or I guess if you don't know, he is the front man for Red Hot Chili Peppers. He himself has a lot of weird controversies, as most rock stars unfortunately do. Anyway, Anthony Kiedis' dad is in one of I believe the very first scene that we're introduced to Riggs in the Christmas tree lot, where Riggs is undercover and buying Coke from like these 3 guys in the Christmas tree lot. Presumably, they're workers. Yeah. Because they said they'll like, if you buy this much Coke, we'll give you a tree for free. Yeah. One of those guys is Anthony Kiedis' dad. If you've seen the movie, like if you go back and watch the scene, we don't even need to describe him. He looks exactly like Anthony Kiedis.
He's the guy wearing a flannel.
The same facial hair.
Am I thinking of the wrong guy?
There's one, I'm pulling him up right now. There's one that literally looks like Anthony Kiedis. You talk about something. How was your day?
Oh. Oh, you know.
Oh, wait, no. He's like, he doesn't have the facial hair, actually.
Yeah, he's clean shaven, but
his facial structure is like
exactly like picture Anthony a wispy Kiedis. Like mustache and goatee looking thing.
I mean, if you just look up Anthony Kiedis' dad, his picture from Lethal Weapon is one of the first images that pulls up. So anyway, that was just a little fun fact during the synopsis. But so Murtaugh is paired up with loose cannon Riggs. It's Christmas time. We know Riggs has just lost his wife relatively recently. He is very suicidal, and everyone in the police station, he's like new to police station. This is his new jurisdiction.
I think I don't know. They talk about him like they know him, like this, like Murtaugh's he's putting on an insanity act, right? But Murtaugh's in homicide.
Oh, that's
he's
true.
in narcotics. And everybody's like, is he acting this way because he's really crazy, or is he acting this way because he wants to fake being crazy and get the insanity pension?
Yeah. Which is very Hamlet-esque.
Okay.
Do you not agree? Have you read Hamlet or know Hamlet?
Like years ago.
Okay. A large portion of Hamlet is they didn't know if he was actually crazy or like pretending that he was crazy to intimidate Claudius, who's like the evil uncle, or Scar. You may know him using Lion King term.
But he makes Ophelia go crazy.
Yes.
For real.
I was just mentioning that as like Hamlet-esque because Mel Gibson did eventually play Hamlet. And a lot of people think it was part of his role as Riggs for being borderline. Is he crazy? Is he not crazy?
I had no idea. That's crazy.
Yeah. It's a really weird movie because obviously Mel Gibson, say what you want about Mel Gibson. He's a very good actor, but his face is just like not Hamlet era. No, he's like very modern looking. Yeah. But also like Helena Bonham Carter, I think, is Ophelia in that movie. It's a really strange version of Hamlet.
Okay. But
I was just going on a little sidetrack. Speaking of Hamlet and is he crazy? Is he not? Whatever. Mel Gibson, you know. Is Mel Gibson crazy? Do you think Mel Gibson? Okay.
Yes.
Mel
Gibson, I know you're watching this. And let me just say, I hope you're doing better.
Dude, he's not, dude. He directed that movie with Mark Wahlberg on the airplane. That came out like
with Topher Grace.
Is Topher Grace?
Yeah, Mark Wahlberg that's great. I have never thought about that movie.
Dude, well, you're gonna have to watch it because episode 3. No. Okay, so Murtaugh's paired with Riggs. No one knows if Riggs is actually crazy or not. He obviously is to a certain degree. He's a loose cannon.
He's a loose cannon, and he's crazy. He's crazy in the 80s sense of the phrase because he wants to kill him. Like he wants to die.
Yes, he is suicidal for sure.
And
he really just misses his wife.
Yeah. The reason people calling him crazy, it's very 80s, very like we're not
crazy the way we think of crazy today. Crazy as in he doesn't want to live, so that must be crazy.
Yeah.
But he recently lost his wife in the film, so he is very suicidal. One of the first scenes we see of him is him thinking about suicide and almost attempting it. Anyway, he gets partnered with Murtaugh. They soon get involved with a murder/narcotics case.
Yeah.
The villain of this story is
there's a few.
There's a few, but I'm talking about like the overall just what the Shadow Company.
Yeah, Shadow, yeah.
Is kind of boring.
The drug smugglers from the
They're ex special forces, probably like it's probably Vietnam War, right?
Vietnam era.
They come back to America and they just run a drug running company.
Yeah,
I think mostly heroin and coke.
Yeah, they worked with the CIA in they got the most 80s brand name basically. Their Shadow Company. It's very on the nose,
very Metal Gear,
very Metal Gear. Very like kind of little bit eye rolly, but like you laugh at it. You know it's silly, and you know that, or you hope that the people making this was like, this is silly.
Yeah, it really just is like honestly just a standard action villain where we're a bunch of really tough Army Rangers and Navy SEALs, and we're doing heroin and selling heroin.
Right.
And you can't kill us because we have all the rifles and the helicopters, and we're really powerful.
We'll talk about that later.
We have a lot of helicopters.
We'll talk about my feelings on that later.
Yeah. So they're just kind of a standard villain. But in there is a really awesome villain, a secondary villain, pretty much. A direct foil, I guess, as a villain to Riggs, who is played by Gary Busey. His name is Joshua, which is probably one of the most intimidating names I can think of for a heroin dealer.
That's his last name. He's Mr. Joshua.
What?
I don't think they ever say his first name.
It's just Mr. Joshua, right?
Yeah, Mr. Joshua. Maybe because
I think it's funny if it's still his first name, though.
Joshua.
No, just like Mr. John. Like they just call him Mr. John. Like if I just called him Mr. Cody, it's pretty ridiculous. Anyway, the villains are kind of lackluster, but also, let's be honest, that's really not the point of this movie.
Right.
The action in this movie is awesome. Well, the point of this movie is the bromance between Riggs and Murtaugh. Even more than just like, they don't even just become best friends by the end of the film. In my opinion, they become brothers, and the sequels definitely like dive into that, because Murtaugh really is just like, I mean, Riggs is just like the crazy uncle for all of Murtaugh's family. I think, dude, in one of the movies, Murtaugh's wife, I can't remember her name, but she like does his laundry.
Oh,
like he throws, like Riggs goes to their house with like his laundry for her to do it.
How long do you think, if they're not close to the beach? He lives on the beach. Riggs lives on the beach in an RV.
I think he has no problems driving to them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's LA, right?
Yeah. So
it's a driving city. For
no
sure.
matter where. Yeah.
And I mean, he's always like, they're under, like, the whole movie is them driving to places and bickering.
Yeah. That's just cop movies.
Yeah.
Though.
So I think it's also, I don't think he has a I don't know. I don't really.
I mean, it's not something to
this
get caught up
podcast
on.
is like just talking about Riggs's laundry process. Anyway, so this is a great action comedy. My opinion, the action's fun, but I don't watch it for the action. I watch it for mostly the banter between Riggs and Murtaugh. They're just so funny together. And a lot of that is both the actors are just naturally very funny. They talk about like Richard Donner. I was watching an interview with him, and they talk about like Danny Glover. He was surprised how naturally funny Mel Gibson was, because Mel Gibson's a lot more intense of a human being than Danny Glover is. Danny Glover is like, I think he's, besides The Color Purple, I mostly remember him for comedic roles.
Yeah, Predator 2.
He is in Predator 2. I forgot Predator 2 is like in the city. He's in New York.
He's in a Saw movie too?
Yes. He's usually a cop now because of Lethal Weapon. Probably.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I also think of him in a lot of comedies. So it's not surprising that like a lot of the banter from him is just off the dome, but apparently a lot of it was from Mel Gibson. But and it annoyed Richard Donner as well, because like they would continue even after he yelled cut, and like they were just like Riggs and Murtaugh in real life. They were always just like rage baiting each other and annoying each other in a fun way. Yeah, they very much, they still get along even after Mel Gibson's controversies. They've been together frequently, and actually like a Richard Donner tribute as well, because it wasn't until Richard Donner died a couple of years ago that they still had plans for making Lethal Weapon 5.
That's right. Yeah.
If you go on r/Lethal Weapon, the subreddit, without fail, probably once every 2 days, someone asks, is Lethal Weapon 5 still being made? And the top comment is always, Richard Donner died 2 years ago. And those men are in their 60s and 70s. Dude, the first movie, the most iconic line is, I'm too old for this shit. And that was in 1987. And people are still asking if there's a fifth movie.
Yeah, Murtaugh is like literally like 51.
Yeah.
Or something in this movie.
In 1987, he's 51.
Brother, that was 40 years ago.
Yeah.
There's no way. If he's still a cop.
Wheelchair bound.
It's like...
That'd be crazy.
It's like Hector Salamanca from Breaking Bad.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, Lethal Weapon 5 would be good if they were in a geriatric like hospital. Dude, well, I assume like it would be their kids who are like.
Yeah, Chris Rock.
It'd be a classic reboot.
Would Chris Rock be involved, do you think?
He was in 4. Yeah. He was the son-in-law. Well, spoiler. I bet when they made Lethal Weapon 1, first of all, they didn't even know who Chris Rock was at the time. They probably didn't see the trajectory of that film.
Yeah. But anyway, so
anyway, Lethal Weapon's awesome. A lot of it is because of like the natural comedy between Riggs and Murtaugh, and not only can you attribute that to the actors, but of course Shane Black. Shane Black, I think, is just really good at mixing. Yeah, he's just really good at like quippy banter
snappy
stuff
writing
without it being too distracting. Like I know he did Iron Man 3, but I was just going to talk about like a lot of kind of modern MCU films in general. Yeah. A lot of like the snappy dialogue isn't natural to the film, but kind of like too much kind of comedic relief. Yeah. Yeah. Like the he's just behind me, isn't he? Kind of joke.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Shane Black's
writing, I guarantee if Riggs said that would be funny.
Oh, yeah. Because that would be ironic. Because you can't imagine Riggs saying that.
Yeah. Genuinely saying that.
But yeah, Shane Black's writing definitely gives actors a lot of room to kind of play it off the dome, or that's great. This is insane. He gives them a lot of room.
You hear that, boy?
His writing gives the actors a lot of room to play with and to crank it up a notch, go really big with a line, or take it down a notch, keep it reserved. I think, and we know which way both of our actors go in this movie. Mel Gibson's going really big all the time.
Yeah,
Danny Glover is very but
he's also like not though. He is the straight man by default, but he is very over exaggerated and like, I can't believe I have to put up with this.
Yeah, just rolling his eyes and shaking
like
his head the entire time. Yeah.
He freaks out, but it's like all valid because there's a joke where Murtaugh says, "Is there anyone you've met who you haven't killed?"
Mm-hmm.
Because throughout this movie, Riggs kills a lot of people.
Yeah.
Which for movie rules, like he was valid to do so because like they were going to kill him. Obviously, these two cops would be terrible in real life.
Oh, they're out, and
there's no due process
in a week. Yeah, no, there's like very gunslinger, Texas Ranger.
Well, I think a
Riggs
lot of that was
in.
like a very 80s thing where
it's just propaganda, I guess. Just like, look, isn't it awesome? You get to shoot guns.
But I think it's more so in the fact that like at that time they felt like there wasn't a lot of like there was becoming like too much red tape is what they viewed. Not just like for cops, but in general.
Okay.
Like too corporate. Instead of like using common sense, like this guy's obviously the bad guy. Let's just go arrest him. There was too many things of red tape that people started like to
there's
upon.
It,
but that red tape, I mean, it is good. It is just like the Constitution.
Yeah.
So it's like you can't just needlessly arrest people based on a hunch.
Well, yeah, it's
You
also
need
kind of
evidence.
just like letting people air out their frustrations.
Yeah.
Because you like there's situations where you're like, that's the bad guy, go get him.
Yeah.
Boom, bang, we're done. And a lot of cutting through the red tape and especially this kind of action movie is just like very like catharsis, I guess.
In the world of Lethal Weapon, there are very clear heroes and villains that the audiences know.
Mm-hmm.
So when like Riggs and Murtaugh bend and mostly break the rules to arrest these villains,
they're cheering them on.
Yeah, because you don't care because like
that's not why you're here.
Yeah, you're not there for that, and as an audience member, like that guy is a heroin dealer.
Mm-hmm.
Like arrest him, or that guy is a murderer, arrest him. In real life, these cops would not be employed for long.
No.
Actually, I think Lethal Weapon 2 even plays on that more about like the whole red tape thing, because a large portion of Lethal Weapon 2 is about diplomatic immunity. Yeah. And like the villains are very obviously villains, but they literally cannot be arrested.
Yeah.
So anyways, wanted to talk about Danny Glover for a little bit. Actually, let's talk about Mel Gibson, because I kind of mentioned everything I wanted for like Danny Glover as an actor.
Mm-hmm.
Him playing a very abusive person in Color Purple and coming out into this movie where he's the exact opposite.
Mm-hmm.
In a similar vein, Mel Gibson, I mean, he's been in, I think the biggest Mel Gibson role before Lethal Weapon was Mad Max.
100%, yeah.
Where he is also obviously a crazy person, hence why it's named Mad Max. Mm-hmm. Riggs is a little more, I don't know, the original Mad Max, he's like...
He's also a cop.
Yeah, but he's like not too crazy until... Now that I think about it, Mel Gibson plays a lot of roles where he's a cop and they kill his wife and he gets crazy.
Yeah, he kind of
by a lot of, I mean two.
But he's kind of like the revenge guy for a while, like the Patriot. He goes.
Oh yeah,
he goes wild.
Yeah,
chasing down Jason Isaacs.
Yes, Lucius Malfoy.
Yeah,
and his son Heath Ledger, Mel Gibson's son, Heath Ledger. Yeah, that's a crazy movie, by the way. Dude, shout out to The Patriot. It's like 3 hours long. You like The Patriot, Cohen?
It was always on
Is it like FX?
like a TV movie.
Mm. Dude, Fox in the 2000s, like FX era, it was always X-Men Origins Wolverine, Gerard Butler movies, and I feel like there was something else. It was all probably X-Men and Gerard Butler.
Sure.
They kind of dominated that channel for a while.
Yeah, to the point where I veered away a little bit.
Yeah, but bring that back though. Bring back X-Men Origins of Wolverine.
Don't do that.
When do you think people will start like loving that movie?
Now,
You
probably.
think like within the next? You don't think that?
Never.
Dude, but people,
That's the guys that wrote Game of Thrones.
they did X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Mhm.
George R.R. Martin wrote X-Men
No, the
Origins Wolverine.
guys that made the show, David
I know.
Benioff, and
Like the showrunners?
Yeah,
I didn't know they did X-Men Origins
Mhm.
Wolverine. I remember Will I
You should
Am
have
is in
known.
it, I think. Yeah, that movie's not good. But it wouldn't surprise me if people like certain, because that's where like Gambit was. And they love
Yeah.
Channing Tatum. There's elements that people really love.
well, that's not Channing Tatum yet. That's Taylor Kish.
Oh, when does Channing Tatum?
Deadpool and Wolverine.
I thought he was Gambit before that.
No, there was a scrapped Gambit movie with him as the
That he
lead,
was
and
supposed
everybody
to
was
be.
like, "That would be awesome. That would be so cool."
Okay.
And then they scrapped it.
To pay homage to that. kind of
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, Lethal Weapon. Shout out to FX as the movies, but we're talking about Lethal Weapon right now. So Mel Gibson, he was born in America, went to Australia around like middle school,
Mhm.
eventually broke out as Mad Max in those subsequent sequels.
Mhm.
Now we have Lethal Weapon. Riggs, his character Riggs, is American. You can sometimes hear
Yeah, you
his
can pick up
accent slip through.
the twang.
At this era in his interviews, he's still like strongly Australian
Mhm.
accent. They actually ask him a lot in interviews about if he prefers America or Australia, which is like, I don't know, just really weird to
All right.
like, what is he supposed to say? Like he's dual citizenship,
Yeah.
lives in both. This is really stupid. I don't know.
Whatever.
I just thought it was weird that like every interviewer was obsessed with him, asking him that question.
Was he like one of the first prominent like dual citizenship kind of people, or?
I don't know. I think just a lot of. So what I've learned, what I heard about in his interviews is that like the Australian film system was like, he found it as like a bridge between American
That
and
makes
European films.
Okay.
Because like a lot of Australian films like did well in Europe.
Mhm.
No, like a lot of Australian films did well in Europe and America.
Okay.
And at that time, but I mean, America and England have always kind of like exchanged
Yeah.
films,
Mhm.
but like consistently, both countries really loved Australian films.
Okay.
So he just spoke about that a lot. Beyond that, there's probably more famous dual citizens before that.
Probably.
I mean, probably a lot of like English and American.
Oh well, yeah.
Any English actor who came over for the Hollywood system.
Right.
I'll say, and probably Canadian a lot too.
Mhm.
Anyway, this is kind of Mad Max broke out Mel Gibson. I think this kind of like cemented him
Mhm.
as a leading man, the same way it did for Danny Glover as Murtaugh, because he wasn't the leading man. He was very prominent in The Color Purple,
Mhm.
but this is like he is the straight man.
Yep.
In fact, Riggs in this movie is kind of like, there are two protagonists, but I think Riggs is a little more like Jack Sparrow like or Han Solo like, where he's
Yeah,
not
he's
like
like
the
a-
main guy,
He's like kind of like
but he's
yeah,
like
yeah.
why you watch
Yeah.
in a way.
Yeah. That makes sense. He's the very entertaining second lead.
Yeah, he's the
Yeah.
foil to like Murtaugh's straight. Like he
Yeah.
is like this whole movie is like a Lilo and Stitch for adults. Think about it.
They're not trying to take Murtaugh's family away.
You don't know that. We don't know what goes behind the scenes. We only know about Riggs's life.
They make it pretty clear up front Murtaugh's a family man, loves his family.
I don't know if that's Stockholm syndrome.
Okay, all right.
Do you have anything to share, Calvin?
No.
Do you have an opinion?
On the movie?
Yeah, did you like the movie?
It's solid.
There's gonna be a double murder in this apartment.
Yeah.
And you're gonna be the one walking out by the end of this episode.
All right. So anyway, now that we're done about tangents of Stockholm syndrome and murder, let's get back to Lethal Weapon. All right, Cody, you mentioned Clapton before to me.
Yes.
Yeah, you just give me your rundown on how many times have you seen Lethal Weapon? Including this time.
Including this time. This was one of like the classic like rated R movies that I would put on when my parents weren't home.
Okay.
Kind of thing when I was like maybe a little like
early high school.
12, 13, something like that. Like this and like Die Hard.
Baller.
So
fun fact about that. Bruce Willis was offered to play Riggs and Mel Gibson was offered to play McClane.
Oh.
And they both denied those roles.
Works out
really well for them.
So I like Lethal Weapon 1, 2, 3, and 4 all played on TV a bunch.
Mm-hmm.
So I get the later ones mixed up a lot.
Okay.
But I've seen this one. This was probably my third, fourth, or fifth time.
Okay.
Since the last time I watched it, though, I watched To Live and Die in L.A.
Mm-hmm.
by William Friedkin,
which I haven't seen.
Crazy 80s movie, came out in 83. Wang Chung does the soundtrack.
Baller.
Like how Clapton does the soundtrack for this. I was drawing a lot of parallels. Very quintessential 80s batshit action, kind of a thin story, but entertaining nonetheless. One-liners, shootouts, all that jazz. Willem Dafoe is in To Live and Die in LA, and he is
he a crazy biker?
That's Streets of Fire, or something like that. No, he's like some really crazy drug-fueled artist who's laundering money.
It's very Dafoe and very Friedkin.
Yeah, and the CIA, not the CIA, the Secret Service, the people who protect the president,
yes,
are going after money launderers.
Oh, the Secret Service?
Yeah, it's not the
awesome.
cops. It's
that
the money launderer. It's the Secret Service for whatever reason. Doesn't matter. It's insane. But yeah, just hearing the Wang Chung soundtrack and that, and then hearing the saxophone stings in this from Clapton, and then all the 80s-ness of it. There's a through line there. I thought that was really interesting. This one is much better. Lethal Weapon's much better than To Live and Die in LA. But yeah, I noticed a very solid through line. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. What is your opinion? I kind of just want to talk about Mel Gibson as Riggs in general.
Mm-hmm.
What is your feeling on his performance? I loved his performance.
He's the best part of this movie.
Yeah.
It's fun to watch a guy go crazy and do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
For me, and I think maybe nowadays Riggs is more relatable because back in the 80s, like mental health was not something you talked about a whole lot. And he is outwardly showing his pain, not through anger. Well, through anger,
people are much more open to talk about trauma, anxiety, depression, or even like therapy and meds and stuff than they were at that.
Right. So he's definitely got a much more interesting arc, and because he starts out alone. He's got a dog who's got a backstory. Because the
Sam, right?
Yeah, Sam. The original opening scene is he saves that dog from a bunch of hooligans beating him up, and then he takes that dog in.
Yeah.
But rewatching it, I was kind of shocked how little the dog was in it. He's in like 2 or 3 scenes. I for some reason I remember him being and more throughout.
Because you saw the other movies, and Sam is like through in all the movies.
Mhm.
In fact, he gets another dog
Okay.
in Lethal Weapon 4, I think.
I don't remember.
Yeah, Riggs just keeps collecting dogs. I think it's a
All right.
Rottweiler.
Cool. But yeah, Riggs definitely the best aspect of this movie. Just the craziness, how entertaining he is. There is one issue, and I don't think this is Mel Gibson's fault. But when they get to the shooting gallery scene, when they're like chasing down a thin lead, and they're like having a little. This is where the chemistry is starting to build, because I think the chemistry at the start is a little shaky, and then like 30-40 minutes in, they get it down right before they go to the house
with the little kids in front.
No, it's before then. It's when they shoot the guy.
Oh, the pool.
Yeah, the have you met somebody you
Yeah.
haven't killed, and then the stuff in the pool. Like that's where the chemistry starts to build. They go from there.
Yeah, because Riggs saves him.
Yeah,
And so to a certain degree, Murtaugh respects him and appreciates
yeah,
him.
and he didn't mean to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
He just wound up in a pool cover and died
Yeah.
due to a bullet. But then they go to the shooting gallery and they're training, they're talking, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And they're having this competition, and Murtaugh like does a kind of quick draw type of thing, and he shoots the target right in the head, and is like, wow, look at that. And then Riggs is like, all right, loads his pistol, puts the target all the way back, and Mel Gibson does this humming that is so clearly ADR'd in.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it does not add up at all. There's a lot of ADR in this movie that I don't like, that I picked up on, and I was a little shocked. But he hums this annoying tune for like 30 seconds, and it's very clearly not like he's like bobbing his head humming. And the hums are, it's just, I think like Richard Donner or someone in post was like, we need something here
to fill the void
to
of
fill
silence.
this void of silence of him putting the target all the way back and then bringing it all the way forward. And that just, it's a little bit of a nitpick, I guess, but just really, I was just like, I think it would have been fine
That's so
if there was
interesting,
nothing.
because I always think about like another part of that scene that is also Mel Gibson, where he blinks every time he pulls the trigger,
Yeah.
which is like valid.
I mean, the only
But-
guy not to do that is Robert Patrick in T2. And he had to train himself to not blink
Yeah.
at a gunshot.
I guess just Riggs. If you haven't seen the movie, Riggs is the Lethal Weapon.
Mhm.
That's what it's named
They
after.
they
Very clearly
they
state
say it,
that.
yeah.
So like, I don't know, him being like the Lethal Weapon, you'd think that he'd be a little more like T-1000. where
Yeah,
he's,
a
like,
little bit
trained
more
not
of like
to
a
blink and
killer
stuff.
instinct.
Yeah. Dude, I do love that scene. I think like it scares. I do love the scenes where Murtaugh really realizes just how dangerous.
Yeah,
Riggs
like
is.
shooting the smiley face into the target. That's what
Yeah.
that is
so casually too.
Yeah, that's
because
the
that's why
best
he's
part.
coming.
That's the best part of that scene, because he's very clearly messing with them. And that's right at the end of the scene. And then
the
they
more
go.
you learn about Riggs, the scarier he is.
Oh yeah. But I think what's worth noting is about Riggs is after the scene where there's the guy who's about to jump off the building,
yeah,
who's a really terrible actor.
dude.
That
You may
acting
listen
is
to this,
real
bro.
bad. Huh?
You may listen to this.
You-
He may be like, I wonder what anyone says about Lethal Weapon in my scene, and he just heard you say that, dude.
Well, I'm sorry. I hope in the spanning 40 years there was some
A
better
little
work that you're
improvement.
more proud of. But after that scene, where he handcuffs himself
Mhm.
to the guy who's about to jump, those handcuffs break on the way down, by the way.
Yeah.
those prop handcuffs break. You can see them separate, and then Mel Gibson reaches out to grab his wrist so it looks like they're still together. But after that, Murtaugh is like messing with him and being like, you are crazy. Are you really for real? Are you serious? And then he gives him his gun, and there's this really
makes him do
moment.
Russian roulette.
Yeah.
Not really.
No, it's one bullet in.
Yeah.
No spin, just straight up like this.
Like
bullet
kill yourself
will
right now.
Yeah, if you're really crazy, to do it right now. And then he like starts out. They start out messing around, and then it like music cuts out, very tense. Yeah. And then he's about to pull the trigger, and then
we don't see, but I believe
Murtaugh pinches his hand between the firing hammer. And then from that moment on, they kind of respect each other. Riggs is really scary, but after that, he tries.
Yeah.
He tries not to kill anybody. He's trying to play by Murtaugh's rules, not get him killed, all these things. And yeah, like you can tell, like he's trying, Riggs is trying, and Murtaugh is like getting more comfortable.
Yeah.
And being like, okay, this guy's not like he's suicidal, yeah, but he's not doing this for the paycheck. He means this, and I need to take care of him. Kind of.
They really are kind of the ultimate couple. Because like balance each other out so well. Murtaugh like brings him back down to like an emotional level, and Riggs is like, screw the red tape, let's just go do it. Which for this movie, is like a good thing.
Makes sense coming from an assassin too.
Yeah, right, exactly. But okay, so you mentioned like the suicide jump scene or the attempted suicide jump scene. I want to bring up that this was Richard Donner's first action film. He was like very nervous to do this. He was intimidated by the action. He just really loved the relationship between Riggs and Murtaugh. That's what brought him together. Brought him to this film. So he very openly said, like, I just hired the best people in Hollywood for action and kind of let it like, I placed the camera, but beyond that, it's all in their hands, which is really cool from here to hear him say just how much he respected like all the people that helped him make this film.
Crew.
Yeah. But he was always so scared filming the action scenes. I think he quoted like, I don't want anyone to lose like a finger for a movie, let alone their lives. Because unfortunately, if you notice at Lethal Weapon, I can't remember if it's the beginning or the end, but they like, it's in memoriam to a stunt actor who was on that film, not for that film. I don't know what film he died in, but it was after Lethal Weapon. But Richard Donner and he like became really good friends for Lethal Weapon. So he was just talking about stunts in general and how scared he was of all the stunts. And for that attempted suicide jump scene, he actively did not watch. He was present on set, but he closed his eyes and waited for them to say like they were safe before he opened, and he didn't watch it until playback.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to the big balloon at the bottom or no, like I'm not. Yeah, I'm fully facing away. I'm not watching it. Like I'd be terrified. And I'm terrified to holding a camera. Like
they get pretty expensive. And similarly to that stunt, the opening scene is a woman who she kills herself. We find out that she would have died anyway. Yeah. From whatever was in her system. But yeah, whatever. It opens with her jumping out of like a high-rise building and onto a car.
Yeah, high on cocaine.
Yeah. And I couldn't find like a fact check for this. I just read probably on like IMDb trivia or a subreddit or something. But they said the way that they did that stunt was they like, there was a crash pad, but they painted like a car beneath, like the whole city floor, cars and all, is a big matte painting.
Oh, okay.
With a crash pad on top of the painted car.
Okay, so it's the distance is much shorter.
Yes.
That makes sense because
But that's how they were getting the camera was so close to impact.
Yes, that I brought this up when Kevin and I were watching this. I was like, how did they do that?
Yeah.
How they threw this camera off the building with her? Like, what did they do?
Right.
But that makes much more sense if the distance is actually much shorter.
So that could just be a lie I read online, but it's plausible.
I mean, it's plausible.
It makes sense.
They use matte paintings all the time.
Yeah.
So I buy it.
Yeah, they just dropped the camera similar to like Clockwork Orange. I think they did that too. But yeah, so I thought that was like really cool trivia, especially if it's true. It'd be cooler if it was true, but still cool if it's not true. And just speaking of Richard Donner in general, one thing that I found out was really interesting is, first of all, if you read the script, have you read the script to Lethal Weapon or browsed through it at all?
I perused. That's how I found out about the original opening scene that was deemed too dark, I think. Yeah.
Also, they changed the Christmas tree lot scene in that movie too, because he's not ever in like he's at a bar doing like a coke deal, and he fights people who stop him at the bar. This is a lot more interesting, being in a Christmas tree lot selling cocaine. That's fun.
Yeah.
But Richard Donner in general, in the script, there is no mention of their ethnicities. When Richard Donner was thinking about casting Murtaugh, someone suggested, like, what about Danny Glover? And Richard Donner said, he can't do it. He's black. And then Richard Donner was like, wait a minute. At no point does it like matter what Murtaugh's ethnicity is. So he was like, he basically called himself out for being like, bigoted in some sort of way.
Okay.
So he's like, wait, like, I guess Murtaugh could be black. Like, it doesn't matter. So, I mean, that's not why he picked Danny Glover. But then he was open to it, and he obviously Danny Glover got cast.
Right.
Which ultimately was very important, because we may have touched on this earlier, but this film has a lot to do, there's a lot of like social
there's like
social and political themes throughout the film. A lot of them just has to do with like the decor in Murtaugh's house. The main one that catches people's attention on the fridge is End Apartheid.
Right.
It's like a fridge magnet. Obviously this is the 80s, so apartheid was like contemporary then. But also obviously Lethal Weapon 2, apartheid is like directly a plot point.
The villains are South Africans. South Americans doing apartheid. We need to end this now. Yes, the villains in Lethal Weapon 2 are South Africans and linked to apartheid, obviously. And also it just becomes like a big scene about like Danny Glover. He's distracting people. So he's like trying to immigrate to South Africa, and it becomes like it's a really funny bit. Do you remember that? No, I don't. I remember the end, the diplomatic immunity.
Yeah.
Well, just been revoked.
In this scene, it's just like they're distracting like the embassy workers or whatever as Riggs goes and sneaks off into something. And Danny Glover's like, I want to live in South Africa. And they're like, no, you don't. You're black. And it's just like a 5-minute like dumb comedy bit. So luckily he did pick Danny Glover, because apartheid coincidentally became like a huge thing throughout this franchise. Similarly to Tuna, I may have mentioned, but there's a couple tuna stickers and also a larger conversation. The sequel really talked about this tuna industry and how they were killing the dolphins in order to better protect their tuna.
So they can get more
their tuna supply, essentially. And I mentioned that because Richard Donner also talks about like political and societal themes within his films. He says like he doesn't like revolve movies around his themes. Around his like political themes. Instead, he like slips the political themes into film. So he treated Lethal Weapon as just like a pure buddy comedy, but throughout doing that, slipped in like political messaging.
And that I can't really remember a movie recently that does something similar. Like straight up calling out apartheid.
Yeah.
Like what's going on right now?
I think Twisters
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 does
a
it.
lot of people. I
It's
remember
very story
when
like,
Twisters came
embedded,
out
yeah.
and was really successful. A lot of people were like, "That's because it's not political." But like the entire point was,
a landman.
Yeah, a landman who's like taking advantage of these natural disasters and these technologies to like swoop in after and profit off of the destruction. But I think that's a similar movie where it doesn't feel like the political ideology like drives the movie. They just like put that like
it makes sense. It makes it feel like a real story. It makes the characters feel really real. That they have things that they're outspoken about, but that's not necessarily the focus of the movie. It's more the focus of the second one.
For Lethal Weapon 2 and Apartheid for sure. I was just mentioning that because I thought that was a really interesting viewpoint on how Richard Donner like approaches those kinds of themes. He says it's entertainment first, slip in the ideology like secondary, and that will be a lot more impactful. Which is crazy to think about. Obviously, Lethal Weapon 2, as we said, has to do a lot with South Africa in general. So in hindsight, the Lethal Weapon 1 refrigerator magnet sticks out a little more. But it is crazy that like we're just talking about a fridge magnet that's not even addressed in the first movie, but it is like so big and in eyesight that like and colorful. You're just drawn to that.
It's a bland fridge, and then it
the movie has nothing to do with apartheid, but if you watch that movie, you're like, and in fact, I probably watched that movie in like middle school and didn't know what apartheid was.
I didn't know what it was until
I think
third or fourth viewing.
That's why you guys need to watch more movies, honestly, because when you watch movies and they put those kinds of stickers on, there's like stuff that comes up organically in movies. Same like when they told you like read as a kid because it'll make you smarter, because it just exposes you to stuff, and then you like ask your mom, "Hey, they said apartheid. What is that?" Yeah,
it sets you up to ask important questions.
More questions and just learn on your own. So I just thought that was cool how like one little fridge magnet about apartheid, and I'm still thinking about it just because of Lethal Weapon. Lethal Weapon had one fridge magnet. Shout out Lethal Weapon. Oh, now that we're on a big, I don't know why Lethal Weapon seems to like very like overlap with apartheid a lot. Danny Glover in between, I can't remember if it was in between The Color Purple and Lethal Weapon or if it was just around the same time. But some point after The Color Purple, Danny Glover did do I think it was a TV movie where he was Nelson Mandela.
Oh.
So
there's layers to this.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like interesting. Why does like Lethal Weapon 1 have so many like ties to anti-apartheid ideology?
It's awesome.
It is awesome. And honestly, I can't really think of any other movies or like media in general that I think most people know who Nelson Mandela is because not most people, the Mandela effect was kind of named because people just like misremember things. But I can't think of any other movie that like mentions apartheid. I learned more about apartheid like throughout high school and stuff, but I can't think of any other.
The country was largely silent during that time, and only after that system broke down did people speak out. Like even on into the 90s.
I think it ended 1992.
I don't know.
Sometime in like the early 90s, I believe, is when like the fall of apartheid is. I want to look that up.
But yeah, it's like right now, like there's very few movies that take a chance and have the guts to say something about like Israel and Palestine right now. You know, like Superman, the newest Superman movie kind of does, but it pretty much does. It's just named differently. Yeah, it's named different. I think it's the same kind of approach where like it doesn't revolve around it in that form of a way, but if you know, kind of thing. It says that the negotiations to end apartheid was in 1990. Okay.
But obviously that probably took a while and
Yeah.
ended sometime like mid-90s.
Okay. But yeah, like we're seeing right now, a lot of institutions are not talking about the Israel and Palestine conflict in a similar way that that apartheid wasn't being talked about in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah. And I think a large reason about like why Richard Donner's like method for introducing that worked is because it obviously wasn't a part of the plot in the original movie. Like he just put a sticker on a fridge.
Yeah. But even if you do that, if you do something like that now, you're going to get blasted by groups of people for being woke. Like,
yeah, for sure. I mean, a lot of that is social media, but I meant from like an executive for who made Lethal Weapon? Was it Warner Brothers? Whatever. Whatever that studio was, they probably like didn't even notice that they put like an end apartheid sticker.
Yeah.
Also, I don't think like America's as tied to that as they are to the Israel-Palestine situation right now. But like, I don't know, dude.
Yep.
I think that was like just a good like who's going to notice?
Right.
Like they won't notice until this movie is released.
Right.
That I said end apartheid. So I think the studio system and social media right now would make that. Like social media would be a lot more active.
Yeah, it'd be more of a thing.
Yeah.
It would be.
Yeah. But I just liked that his approach. It was really interesting. And obviously it worked.
Yeah.
Because we just spent like 10 minutes talking about apartheid. And we weren't even alive.
Right.
for that.
So where are we at in terms of the story?
In terms of the story, they
kind of
met.
bounced around. I talked about
talk about Sam, the dog.
Talk about Riggs
and him kind of meeting Murtaugh
yeah.
and like how they started to bond throughout.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're both veterans. I think that gives them. They don't.
I think Murtaugh's Korean, right? Korea vet.
That would make more sense
because he's older generation.
That would make more sense. I pictured him as like an early Vietnam veteran, where Riggs is like he was 19
and special ops.
Was at the end and special ops.
I just assumed Korea because of his age. Vietnam wouldn't be surprising. That makes more sense, though. But like him being in Korea also makes sense.
Yeah, 30 years in the past.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess they never like mention it.
Yeah, there's a picture
because
the girl who falls out the window.
Yes, the opening scene. She's the daughter of one of his old war buddies.
And there's a picture of them, and he's like, "Man, I haven't thought about this guy in 12 years or whatever."
Right.
And then, yeah, so her being his daughter sets them down this path where they go to interview this guy.
He has a personal connection to the case in some sort of way.
Yeah. And he was trying to reach out to Murtaugh to be like, hey, these guys are coming after us. Like there's this crazy stuff going on.
Now that I think about it, like, yeah, I mean, for Riggs, like this was just a case.
Yeah.
And he's like, why is my new partner so connected to these heroin dealers?
Right.
And then he gets like shot at by, why are there so many helicopters in this movie too?
Literally. Okay. All right. Oh man. So they go to talk to
the war buddy,
Huntsacker or something.
Yeah.
Whatever his name is. It doesn't matter.
Murtaugh's old war buddy.
The war buddy. And he's like, Murtaugh, you can't go after these guys. It's bigger than us. It's bigger than you. It's bigger than this whole thing. Blah, 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 blah. And then out of nowhere, Gary Busey is hanging out the side of a helicopter.
He probably didn't even realize he was being filmed.
Really big gun.
Thank you. Calvin got that.
And they just come into view.
Out of like the lake, the ocean.
Yeah. Out of the Pacific Ocean off a cliff. And they just like hover up, come into frame. He takes 3 shots, and then they do like a loop,
lap around,
and then they go, and the whole time Riggs is shooting at him with a pistol from way too far away.
But we do know if anyone could do it, it would be Riggs.
Yeah. But just like, what the hell? Where did you get this helicopter?
And that is the first helicopter appearance, but it certainly is not the last.
They found it in the budget that they could have a helicopter, and they were like, what would be cool here? Helicopter. We got a spare helicopter. Let's use it. ridiculous.
Who found in the studio?
No, this is me.
Or Shadow Company. Because I feel like either way, like we found a helicopter.
Yeah.
Let's use it. Because he doesn't really, I guess Mr. Joshua is trying to kill like Hudsacker, but like not, it seems more like warning shots. It's like, I see you talking to a cop, but there's no way he knew that, right?
I think them being responsible for his daughter's death because they poisoned her, which really loose plot thread there.
When I was a middle schooler watching this for the first time, I did not like understand the connection.
They always, Riggs and Murtaugh, they always talk about how it's really
died anyway.
A paper thin lead. Like it's really paper thin. And of course it turns out to be this whole thing. But yeah, they're responsible for her death. And then that's his warning because Murtaugh gets like 3 calls from him before the movie
he never answers.
Yeah. And then he's just like, all right, he's talking, bang, bang, bang. Their only lead is dead.
Yeah. Dude, poor Riggs. Poor Riggs just thinks he's out like
yeah, he's reliving the war.
Yeah, his buddy is like just interviewing an old war buddy, and then all of a sudden a helicopter, like Gary Busey pulls up and the helicopter from the ocean and just starts shooting at him.
No hesitation, just whips it out, finds cover. And,
right.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
it's so ridiculous. And then it gets very 80s from there on.
What a bad coincidence. Like the time I'm going to try to shoot this guy.
Yeah.
Is when Murtaugh and Riggs are right there.
Yeah. Yeah. The timing of that. And then this is where the pacing gets a little crazy for me too, because after that, they kind of just are like, there's like a one-off line about them canvassing sex workers. And talking to sex workers. And it's just like, it's not even like a full thought. They're just like,
there are a lot of sex workers in this movie when I think about it.
I think that's pretty common in Shane Black movie, like nice guys, opening scene.
Probably and just like urban crime movies in general.
Yeah.
Because sex workers are like, they're on the street, so they know all the gossip. So they're always like first aspect, to be interviewed.
Yeah. If somebody's seen something, they've seen something.
Right.
But they go from there to being like, hey, you seen this girl? You know what this girl looks like? Blah, 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 blah. And then Gary Busey, out of nowhere, like he was hired by P. Diddy, hangs out the car, shoots Riggs, and they think he's dead.
First Diddy reference. It's not a lethal weapon. But yes, he does do a drive-by.
Yeah, he drive-bys Riggs.
He does a drive-fly and a flyby.
A flyby and then drive-by.
And he's not really successsul with any of them.
He gets the guy that he wants. He could have kept shooting and probably got Riggs or Murtaugh, but plot armor. And then Riggs is wearing real armor.
Yes, he's got Kevlar.
And he gets blasted in the chest by a shotgun. And then just a crazy transition to go from that like serial like peak and then be like, hey, have you seen this girl? And then tires screech. Gary Busey's hanging out of a car, blasts him and drives off, and then
it does come out of nowhere.
Yeah,
but it's also awesome because they're obviously expecting it, or else he would not be wearing Kevlar under his shirt.
Yeah. Well, Murtaugh was like, was not, but Riggs was like, these guys are going to be back.
Yeah.
And then that puts them on to, I forget her name, the character's name, but they go to her house, the house that blows up.
Mindy. Like
I don't remember,
but yes,
they wind up at her house, and that's
the kids are out front.
Yeah, which is a good scene.
It's a really great scene.
It's really charming.
Yeah, they go up to the house as soon as like they're about to like knock on the door. The house blows up. Kids are witnessing it, so they ask the kids like, "Do you know who lives here? Did you see who did this? Did you see who did that?" And it's a really great moment. Where first of all, it shows like how good Murtaugh is just like talking to kids.
Yeah.
There's a family man side of him where he like gets down on the kids level. Also, they talk a lot about like just, I guess, social injustice. Like they address it to an extent.
Oh yeah. Yeah. They talk about
all the kids are like Black and Latino, I believe. And they talk about like, you cannot talk to a cop. Like a cop will arrest you and you'll never see your family again.
Yeah.
Anyway, Murtaugh is like, whatever. Let's talk about what you saw.
Yeah. He very clearly sees the issue with the current questioning of the kids, and he's like, take a hike, I got this.
Yeah.
And then he takes over.
Yeah.
And they're more How old are you, Martin? 7. Like,
Yeah, it's
very
really funny.
very funny.
But I just love when, so they talk about like he had paint and blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
Basically, a kid doesn't know what a tattoo is.
Yeah.
So they find out the kid is talking about a tattoo. And when the kid starts describing the tattoo and Riggs's like eyebrows like perk up,
Mhm.
that's such a good moment because, you know, when Riggs lifts up his sleeve and he has the same tattoo that the kid's describing. When I was in middle school, I also was like, what the hell does that mean?
Yeah.
I was like, wait, Riggs killed this girl? No. But the tattoo that Riggs is wearing, the tattoo that Riggs has is a special ops tattoo.
Mhm.
So basically at that moment, they really know that they're in deep shit.
Yeah. And
Because whoever they're chasing after is like true special ops.
Yeah. This is kind of where,
because it wasn't even just special ops. It was like
no, it was like CIA, black site, like
it was like
clandestine
it
operations.
was the like what's it? Deep government. It was like the
the shadow company.
it was the shadow company, big boss.
Yeah.
Ocelot.
Yeah, this is where up until this point, they've been trying at the very least to be playing by Murtaugh's rules and the law.
Mhm.
Not killing everybody on site and all that.
Yeah.
And then this is where Riggs is like, oh shit,
cannot do this.
the rules do not apply to this.
Yeah,
We're
this is
dead
no
meat if
longer
we
like
do.
cops. This
Yeah.
is now like we're in war.
Yeah. And then out of nowhere, they reveal that Gary Busey has been taking Murtaugh's daughter out on dates.
That part was really weird. So I think a lot of that is the casting of Gary Busey. So
Yeah.
if you don't remember the film, basically throughout like I guess the film in general, Murtaugh's oldest daughter is always talking about like this new boy that she's
Mhm.
dating.
While
Does she
also
even-
being obsessed with
Yeah.
Riggs.
Does she? Yeah, she is also obsessed with Riggs, which is really
Mhm.
funny. Does she say his name's Josh or Joshua at all?
No.
I don't remember. But
I don't think so, but Murtaugh makes a comment about his dimples and how hollow his face is.
Yeah,
And then when you see Gary Busey smile, you're like, oh yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, this is who he's talking about.
But it's weird because,
really
like,
weird off the cuff.
Gary Busey is. I don't know how old he is in this.
He's too old.
He's too old,
Yeah.
and Gary Busey also just like he naturally looks older.
Yeah.
So it's even weird that he's just like talking to a 17-year-old girl. I mean, I guess he's a criminal, but it's weird that she
Maybe he was hired.
It's weird that she's attracted to him. You don't think that's weird?
I mean,
You think if you were a 17-year-old girl and you met like Gary Busey and you didn't know he was Gary Busey, you'd
There's-
be like, this guy's attractive.
I don't. Bro, have you
I
heard
mean,
of
I'm not
grooming?
Have I heard of who?
Grooming?
Yeah, but whatever. I guess I just like they never really talk about like that relationship.
No, he's taking her out on dates, and then
Yeah,
he like knows where they live.
right.
That's what they're setting up. That's the story device of what they're setting up.
I'm more like saying like, how did she meet him? And like,
because he sought her out. Like he knew that the war buddy knew him, and that he was a cop, and he reached out to him. And he was like, okay, well, I killed this guy's daughter. We killed this guy's daughter. We might have to silence this guy by killing his daughter,
right.
or something like that.
No, I totally get it from that
I'm-
standpoint.
I'm
saying
having
there's,
to
like,
do a lot of work to make this make sense.
No, I'm saying like she would not, dude. She would not look at
Okay,
this
well,
man.
this is
and be
modern
like-
day. That picture on the far right is crazy.
She would-
That is so wild. That's modern day Gary Busey.
It doesn't matter
but-
like what car he pulls up in. She is not joining that man. But yeah, so that was a really weird. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What? Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, she gets kidnapped.
She gets kidnapped.
Of course,
Happens off screen.
happens off screen. That's actually a good scene, kind of.
Them finding out.
Yeah.
Yeah. The red light of the Christmas tree, and then Riggs being like, all right, Roger, we have to do this my way. And Murtaugh is all in. He's like, these bastards have my kid.
Yeah. Anything to
They're
get my
going
daughter
down.
back.
Yeah. And like the red flashing on to their faces is just like okay, we're seeing red. We're gonna paint the town red. We're going crazy.
You know what time it is?
It's
What vehicle comes out next?
It's been 4 scenes since the helicopter first showed up, and we gotta use it again.
Mm-hmm. Is there only one helicopter again?
Yeah. There's only one helicopter. They have the one that they use to like film with.
Oh yeah,
for the helicopter shots, but
a lot of helicopters in this.
Yeah,
well, I guess there's one that repeats a lot.
Yeah. So it's established that Riggs is a sniper for whatever branch of the military in Vietnam.
Probably a made up.
Yeah.
Made up special ops.
They set up and meet. Gary Busey calls Murtaugh and is like, all right, we got your daughter.
Here's the rendezvous
Meet
point.
at the dry lake or whatever at 4 a.m.
Yeah, they're out in the desert.
They're out in the, I don't know. It's far.
Yeah, middle
far
of nowhere.
Out. And Riggs gets set up in the sniper spot. Murtaugh drives in alone.
And we do know, I just want to point out, like, Riggs talks about, like, Riggs is not good at a lot of things, but he's very good at killing people.
Yeah,
that's what he says. He's kind of like Wolverine to that standpoint.
He's like, the only thing I'm good at is killing people.
And
like,
he talks about when he's like 19 in Vietnam, he has a rifle that's not equipped enough for he's like 500 yards out. Something.
Oh yeah, because
something
it's like
insanely.
3 people could have made that shot.
Yeah, and I'm like one of the 3. So we know that when Riggs gets in place for this sniper shot, that he's capable of doing this.
It'll be. We think it'll be all right.
Right.
So the cars come in single file line,
which is awesome.
Through the heat waves of the desert, and
it's very Michael Bay now. I think about it.
Yeah, very
like Transformers.
Yeah, very Transformers in the desert. Yeah, and the helicopter is flying way too low to the ground, way too close to those cars.
Be driving.
Great, huh?
May as well just be driving.
Yeah, and it's kicking up the dust and like
it's cinematic.
Once you see the scene, you're like, oh, this is why they got the shot.
It's like a Call of Duty trailer.
Yes, yeah,
it's awesome.
And then they do some intimidation shit.
And Murtaugh is like hilarious. First of all, Murtaugh, the way that they're positioned, because Riggs is set up to kill pretty much everyone, but mostly like Gary Busey, or Mr. Joshua. And the way it's set up, right, is that like Murtaugh is just, his head is in this, like he's in the way.
Yeah.
Right. Riggs can't make that shot cleanly without either killing Murtaugh or the daughter. I think mostly Murtaugh is in the way.
I think his goal was to like Murtaugh was like, by any means necessary, we're getting my daughter out of here.
Yeah.
So and Murtaugh is standing in the way of Gary Busey.
Yeah.
Who is not holding his daughter, like is like in the area, but it is not the guy holding the gun to Murtaugh's daughter's head. And then it was never going to be negotiations. It was going to be a shootout no matter what.
Right.
But the negotiations go bad
because Murtaugh really bluffs.
He bluffs with a smoke grenade.
Yeah, he thinks his hands are tied in a way, so he does what he can, and he throws out smoke. They think it's real grenades.
Yeah,
but he just throws out smoke grenades.
Yeah, he thinks he's got the ace in the hole, and then Gary Busey's just like, what are you doing? And he shoots him in the arm.
Someone sneaks up on Riggs.
Yeah,
so Riggs can't get them out of it.
Well, he takes out a few.
He does take out a few, but they all get like, it goes wrong for all of them.
Yeah.
So now not only like is his daughter kidnapped, but all 3 of them.
Yeah. The main bad, Gary Busey's not even the main bad guy. The main bad guy is so unmemorable that I have not brought him up. I don't know his name. It's like McAllister or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Some guy that sounds British, but is not actually British.
We all know that Gary Busey is like.
Yeah, he's the meat and the potatoes.
He's the villain.
Yeah. He's the
Sub-Zero to Riggs' Scorpion.
Yes, he's the foil, the rival, the dark reflection of Riggs.
Yeah.
And
this other guy's just a talking head for the Shadow Company.
Yeah, this other guy, the ringleader, somehow knows where Riggs is going to be because reasons. And then,
well, he's also special ops,
yes.
right?
Yeah,
so we can assume that I know it's for the movie.
Like, why that? Like,
but he probably knows. It shows that he's like smart enough to know that like Riggs is alive and is going to kill us. So
for sure,
let's figure out where he is. But yes, all 3 of them end up getting kidnapped.
Yep.
They go back to the villain's lair, which I think is just beneath a bar.
Yeah, it's a warehouse attached to nightclub
It's a nightclub
kind of thing.
Oh my god! Can we talk about Gary Busey's intro?
Yes. We just thought
Gary
thought of
Busey-
two different things, but yeah.
I'm just gonna like Gary Busey's intro is one of the most insane villain intros. So they're just like the villains are gathered around talking to some random,
Drug dealer.
Who cares? And they're just like talking about loyalty and like how crazy Gary Busey is. So to prove that Gary Busey or Mr. Joshua is crazy,
He gets snapped at.
yeah, he just rolls up his sleeve and he sticks out his arm, and the main villain puts a lighter beneath his arm.
He holds it
for
there
a
for like
solid few Mississippis.
yes.
And Gary Busey does not flinch.
He's making a face and he's starting to sweat, but he's like
He's biting
like,
to the pain.
yeah, he's just like, all right.
Yeah.
Another day, another intimidation
And
tactic.
do you remember like what the drug dealer says? It's like,
Yeah.
you guys are far out there, man. You're in Pluto.
Yeah. Some of the dialogue delivery.
It's Shane Black.
No, but like the delivery of it, it's like a little
delivery.
stilted. Like
I think a lot of it is ADR. The sex
Yes.
worker in the beginning for sure. Like, oh, you're hilarious.
Yeah.
It's like a really weird
mhm,
ADR that the actress did not say.
right.
Yeah.
A lot of the extras or scene specific actors,
Character actors.
leave a little bit to be desired, which they're character actors. They're not in very long. That doesn't take away from the movie too much.
But I think honestly, like looking back on it, I think to me that adds to it.
There's charm in bad ADR
Because it's
but
like
there's also
now I remember that one woman's line because it was so bad.
that's an interesting point.
Like I would not have remembered that. Like that delivery was so bad that I will never
Mhm.
forget that delivery. And for like a character actor, it's not like a big plot point.
No.
If it's like a big plot point and they screw up their line, sure, that sucks.
Yeah, it's
But it is just
it's like Elvis being in the background of Home Alone, that one extra that looks like Elvis.
Oh yeah.
That when something stands out, whether good or bad,
It's just
it
like
makes you
Glove
remember. Yeah.
Like the Lethal Weapon ADR is just like Glove Cheetos.
Oh my god.
That's how I look at it.
Yeah, that's fair.
But what did you remember?
Yeah, so you said earlier that Mel Gibson was offered the role of John McClane in Die Hard, and Bruce Willis was offered the role of Riggs.
Sinatra was also offered John McClane. You didn't know that?
I think I heard it a while ago and I forgot.
Die Hard is based off a book.
Mhm,
Frank
yes.
Sinatra. There's a book series. Frank Sinatra was in another adaptation back in like his prime.
Yeah.
So legally they had to offer him
Okay.
to fulfill that contract.
Okay.
But he's like, I'm 80 or whatever.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut.
There's a character actor. There's a guy who plays one of the terrorists in Die Hard, who chases after John McClane. And he's the guy that gets on top of the conference table and is like shooting through the table trying to kill Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
And it's one of the first kills of the movie, where Bruce Willis shoots back through the table and like all the squibs go off like from his legs up to like his chest. That same actor is the guy that tortures Riggs.
Yes.
In this next scene where they're all captured.
He puts a sponge up to his chest
Yeah, but
as water. It falls down.
Electrocuted.
Yes, they're like it looks really without like the sound effects.
Yeah.
It's just like a guy with a big broomstick with a sponge attached to
And
that.
there's like jumper cables and there's a rubber glove
It's a
and he's like
crazy setup.
brushing. As a kid, I didn't really get what the deal was.
Right. It's probably like the most painful thing ever.
Yeah, but I mean, Mel Gibson has to do some work in that, because what even like
it was a crazy setup.
Yeah, crazy setup. Also, why are you torturing the ex special forces guy in this way where you know he's been trained to resist torture?
Right. Not like the
like those guys have been
it's
been
weird
trained.
because
He's been trained.
they're torturing them like to scale. Because the way they're torturing
they're rubbing
Murtaugh
salt in
is
the
like
wound.
they're punching him and cutting him and rubbing salt in the wound.
It's so
Like,
ridiculous.
why are we hanging this guy up and like electrocuted? He would speak.
Yeah, he would for sure talk. Not that they know anything. There's nothing to know.
I mean, they know that like you're dealing heroin. And we're going to stop you.
That's literally.
But like
it.
we
But
know
also,
that.
like,
That's why we're in this position.
Riggs wasn't in on that conversation at all, and Murtaugh did not tell him anything.
Yeah. Murtaugh, I mean, Riggs also wouldn't say anything. We know he's crazy enough.
Yeah.
Like
he's but eventually they give up torturing him, and
Riggs is the way he gets out is pretty crazy.
yeah, well, he's like Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible 5.
Yeah, he
before
chokes
Tom
someone
Cruise.
with his legs.
Snaps the guy's necks with his legs. He does when Tom Cruise is like hooked on to
like the Harley
pole
Quinn
and
thing.
he like gets out. Yeah, like the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, the Suicide Squad.
Very. I drew a line from him to Tom Cruise, and I was like, "Oh, that's a crazy." I never thought about that.
And then so he escapes that torture. He goes into the next room. He sees the way they're torturing Murtaugh by just punching him.
Yep.
And he's like, "Okay, that seems fair."
And then, they get his daughter out, and they're like, "We're gonna kill her. We're gonna." And then Riggs busts through the door. I think snaps he full on like
he just straight up walks up
snaps
to the
another
guy,
guy's
snaps his neck.
But it's like the most soft, like
It's awesome.
It's very like it's not like an Arnold Schwarzenegger neck snap. It's just like a like.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm just thinking like we need either Mad Max or Riggs or whoever he played in The Patriot to be in like the next Mortal Kombat DLC.
Mad Max would be
the
best,
crazy.
I think, because his fatality could be
car related,
and the end of
he chains you,
when he kills the guy with the extreme close up and the eyes go wide and he explodes.
Oh yeah,
did that?
Yeah, Riggs would. I mean, I don't know. That
would be great. I mean,
like, the way he just snapped people's necks reminded me of like some sort of Mortal Kombat era.
Yeah,
or I guess like, more so like the Hong Kong films that inspired Mortal Kombat.
Yeah,
just walks up to a guy and it's just over.
Very, very silly.
But yeah, so he kills. He mostly does all the work.
Yeah,
he kills everyone.
Is mowing everybody down.
But of course they escape.
Yeah,
the villains escape.
The two guys escape, and it really. We'll get there. Riggs is chasing after Gary Busey, and the vibes of it kind of reminds me of one of the like the nightlife that district of LA kind of reminds me of 48 Hours, or like the clips of 48 Hours that I've seen.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just got Nick Nolte vibes from Gary Busey.
Gary Busey and Nick Nolte are actors that I confused a lot as a kid.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah. So I can see the connection. Also, we already like kind of mentioned Tom Cruise in a way. Riggs or Mel Gibson does some it's a car chase and he just full on sprint. Does that have a gun too?
Yeah, he's got like an MP5
gun, like, up, and he's just running. He's the T-1000 in that scene.
Yeah. He doesn't have shoes on, and then once in one scene, then magically he has shoes on in another.
That's so awesome. Running down like Skid Row without any shoes on is awesome.
And then he's running. Like he stops traffic on the highway, and
as you should.
He thinks he gets Gary Busey. He blows up his car. He gets out and he's like, "Mind if I test drive your Audi?"
Dude, he has some banger lines.
Insane. And then he drives off. He gets away, and Riggs is like, "Ah, shit, what not?" And then we go back to Murtaugh, who is chasing down the ringleader of Shadow Company, who for some reason goes back for cocaine and 3 grenades. He disappears, but he's like in the same building, and Murtaugh he's walking around, stumbling around.
I have to look up his name because I don't remember.
I think it's like General McAllister or something like that.
Of course it is.
And then he just stumbles across him, and then Murtaugh doesn't even get. He does his quick draw thing. He kills the driver that's with the big bad, and then they go careening into a bus, and he gets blown up by one of his grenades that gets its pin pulled magically.
Yeah.
And then that's the end of that guy.
And then we get a really big showdown. So of course we go back to Murtaugh's house, right?
Yeah. Gary Busey is like vengeful.
We very poetically run into a fire hydrant. So there's water.
Yes.
there's a cloud of rain from this fire hydrant.
Well, even
it's so beautiful.
he shoots the door. He kills 2 cops, and then he shoots the door open.
Yeah.
And then he finds a note, very a la Die Hard. Ho, 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 now I have a gun. Sorry, bad guys. There's no one here. Sincerely, the good guys.
He's literally just listed as the general.
That's awesome.
Like from like the Google cast.
That's awesome.
I'm sure he has an actual name.
And then they send a squad car through the Murtaugh's house.
Yeah.
They put a brick on the gas and they send it across the yard and into
because his stuff always gets destroyed. In number 2, it's his car.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, it's
there's a toilet bomb. Yeah,
that may be number 2 as well. No, that's probably number 2.
I don't remember.
It is not. Something in Murtaugh's house is always destroyed, or it's part of his property. Oh, one of them is like he's because they destroy his house in this one.
So they're redoing it.
Yeah, they're redoing like the garage.
Yeah,
and that also, I don't think if they ruin that again, but he uses like the staple gun. Remember?
I know.
Oh, well, he uses like the staple gun from a contractor to like fight off another guy, which is awesome.
Okay.
The guy who plays the general is also in Halloween Curse of Michael Myers. If you haven't seen that movie, don't or do. I mean, it is not good at all. It's an 8% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's awesome.
Which is
it's pretty high.
Yeah. There is one cast member in Curse of Michael Myers that you will not guess is a part of this movie.
Kevin Bacon.
No. But you're kind of like...
Brad Pitt.
No. Should I just say it?
Yeah.
It's Paul Rudd.
Oh.
And Paul Rudd is a freak in this movie.
Okay.
Anyway, sorry. Yeah. So this guy, the general.
Yeah.
He's dead.
He's gone. Now we're at the big final showdown. But they have him beat already.
Yes.
They have Gary Busey beat.
And the cops are everyone's surrounding him. Yeah. Now it just becomes a personal vendetta between Riggs and Mr. Joshua to see who is like the true lethal weapon.
Right.
And I do know that.
But like, what legal grounds? Like, it's cops. There's a swarm of cops who are all like, yo, what the hell's going on? Yo, what's happening? And Murtaugh's like, just let him fight. Just let him fight. Just let him fight. I got command on the scene here. Just let him fight. And
that's his grounds. You listen to your superior. But yeah, there's no ground. Obviously, they would.
He's like,
you break that up instantly.
Yeah. Why? Like, why was that allowed to happen?
It shouldn't have been. And
a really ridiculous kung fu fists versus kicks.
Oh, it was awesome though. So I do know
drowning
that
in a puddle. Like,
Gibson and Busey did go through like a lot of actual martial arts training for it, which he really didn't need for anything else. It was more of just like, I mean, yeah, there was martial arts in there, but because there's some like real chokeholds in there, but most of it was just like a brawl, like a They Live style brawl. But we will say that it's awesome because isn't he shirtless? They're like rolling around in mud, drowning each other in puddles. Yep. I think he's shirtless and in jeans, Mel Gibson or Riggs. Yes, he is. Which is so awesome.
He's still shirt. He's either got the John McClane like jeans, tank top on.
I think he's genuinely just straight up shirtless.
Or he might be shirtless from the torture. But Gary Busey's in
he was tortured.
A nice shirt and a jacket. And the cops just let him duke it out for like 5 minutes.
He's shirtless. I just looked up I don't remember if he takes off the shirt. He starts with the shirt on. So at some point, I mean, it makes sense. In a lot of street fight videos, I mean, that's the reason like martial artists don't wear shirts is because you can use clothing against you. Yeah. I mean, they get ripped.
No, he uses... somebody gets like a weapon.
Oh, does he try to straight? Oh, he stops it. He like catches it. It's like a crowbar or something, and he catches it with that.
Yeah, there's a
reason. It doesn't make it makes sense to be in a fist brawl and end up shirtless.
Yeah, sure.
We've all been there.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's okay.
I don't know why I agree with that.
We've all fought in our neighbors' front lawns with the fire hydrant going off, trying to see who's the lethal weapon. And Calvin's been there.
He's nodding.
You've probably been there with Michael Vina.
Yeah, I have. It was my backyard, not my front yard.
Yeah, so don't look at me like I'm the crazy one. We've all been there at some point.
One of us is standing here right now, and the other is not.
And we'll leave it at that. Your Honor. We didn't explicitly say anything. But yeah, so that fight scene's awesome.
yeah.
Has no legal grounds. But
No
it doesn't
legal
need
grounds.
any legal grounds.
And
'cause
then
it's street rules.
and then Riggs showing growth is like, nah, it's not worth killing. I'm done with this.
Well,
he
he's
goes
already,
over.
like, he's beat him.
he's
So he
beat him, yeah.
proves that
Mhm.
like I am the lethal weapon, but I don't need to kill
He
you.
says that.
I've killed. He looks
It's like
at the camera too.
scene from Invincible. He goes, I am the lethal weapon. Think, Joshua, think.
I do really love. Okay, obviously it's to show growth, right? That
Mhm.
Riggs is like showing restraint.
Yeah.
At the same time, it is funny like how many no-name people he kills,
Mhm.
and then we get to like the big bad villain. He's like, I'm going to let you go. And I think they do that in a lot of action movies
Mhm.
where like you have no problem killing like this henchman.
Right.
But
Well,
then, like-
it's like the whole what's the Timothy Oliphant show, Justified? Yeah, Justified.
Mhm.
Where they have to draw first, so he's justified in shooting them. Because like a lot of times in this movie, the bad guys are pulling the guns first, and Riggs is like, I guess it's go time. Let's go.
It's a self-defense
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Which is why when it's hand to hand, he beats him. He's like, all right, whatever. And
Well-
then Gary Busey gets loose. He's
Why?
caught, and then he gets loose.
So what do?
He grabs the gun.
How do you grab the gun?
How did he grab the gun?
Are you the only person grabbing the gun? No. Two people are grabbing guns.
No. Gary Busey pulls
he
the gun
steals
off
it
the
off a
cop.
cop.
Yeah. And then
Which I know
great use
you've
of
also done
slow-mo,
before.
great shot. This is one of like the standout moments that like very iconic.
Yeah.
Um,
Rain coming down. Fire
rain
hydrant.
coming down. Yeah. Murtaugh for some reason has Riggs' gun in his front, and then he's got Murtaugh's gun in his side.
Awesome
and they-
setup.
One of them turns,
They draw
yells
together.
gun, and they both. It's very
It's cinematic.
full circle. Yeah, it's great.
It's beautiful.
It's great. It's hard not to like that.
That's just
moment.
you talking about Justified just brings up again like another urban cowboy.
Yeah.
It's a little tie back because that's also like a theme in a lot of westerns.
Mhm.
A main western archetype probably that I can remember started with like John Wayne is
Mhm.
a lot of these figures, their main like struggle is they're too civil for like the criminal world,
The
or
uncivilized West. Yeah,
but
the
they're
Wild
too
West.
wild
For
for civilization.
Yeah.
That's why, like, I mean, a lot of people who haven't even seen The Searchers know, like, the famous John Wayne shot of like the last shot of the film is like him walking out of the house and the door closes on him.
Mm.
Do you know that shot at
No.
all? It's just like a very visual way that John Ford said, like, this guy's part of the family, but he's like too wild to be here.
Okay.
But he's like struggling with that. So
Mhm.
that's just a common trope in a lot of Western films. And Western films, if you think about it, are kind of like the original action
Yeah,
films in
there's
general.
yeah those, and then the serials on the
Yeah.
radio plays.
Any like Lone Ranger-esque
Mhm.
thing. And then of course it evolves to like,
Raiders.
yeah.
Because I mean, none of this happens without Raiders of the Lost Ark.
I don't think any movie
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think any movie happens without Raiders of the Lost Ark. I don't think Past Lives would exist if Indy didn't put on that hat. It's okay to admit that.
I'm doing a lot of mental gymnastics. I'm gonna hurt myself.
Every movie takes main influence from Raiders of the Lost Ark. And we all know that.
Okay. Well, that's the whole plot of Lethal Weapon.
That's the plot of Lethal Weapon.
Any final thoughts?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about similar to like what we're talking about, the Western. Shane Black,
Mhm.
like I said he approached this as an urban Western. I think that's a little like not out of context, but I think he's specifically talking about Gibson's character
Mhm.
because I don't think there's a lot of like other elements that
I mean,
are Westernish.
You could argue that Murtaugh is like the straight edge sheriff
Yeah,
who was forced to team up with this former outlaw.
but I think
or
it's
whatever.
more like the archetypes than the
Mhm.
actual plot points.
Yeah.
Aside from just being like action-ish.
Right.
But so Richard Donner talked about like Shane Black. Shane Black said he approached it as an urban Western and that inspired the way that Richard Donner shot the film.
Okay.
He wanted not necessarily show like the violence as cartoonish,
Mhm.
but he wanted it to like not be gritty. He just like replicated the same way that Howard Hawks and John Ford
Right.
filmed those action scenes.
That makes sense.
Where it's
yeah.
like
Like paying homage.
Raiders, you
Yeah.
just pull out your gun and the villain's gone.
Yeah.
except for the big showdown,
Right.
like towards the end.
Mhm.
Or that be well, even then it was just like kind of like Star Wars-ish, where it's just like Han Solo shooting the stormtroopers, the way that Gibson just like
It's
clears out
like
that
shot of him shooting and then reverse shot, the bullets going.
Yeah, the filmmaking approach.
over. Yeah.
It became more drawn out during the final showdown, but you had to like that's the point.
Yeah.
Is like that's the character arc for Riggs.
Yeah. So
There's
then,
a few other things that sorry.
I just want so there's that showdown, and then there's like it cuts to a few days later. It's Christmas, Christmas Day. Riggs goes over to the Murtaugh's house, and like this is him being like, all right, I got a reason to live. Are the Murtaughs his reason to live? Maybe he
has a purpose. He has a friendship.
He has a friendship. He has people in his life.
Community.
Yeah. And he's not going to go in. He just rings the doorbell. Murtaugh's daughter answers, and he gives her the bullet that he was going to use to kill himself earlier with.
Oh yeah, such a good moment.
And
and
she's like, "What the hell? This is a bullet." And he's like,
"Dad will know what this.
You'll know what this means." And then he tries to slink away, and then Murtaugh comes out. He's like, "What the hell? You don't want to enjoy some?"
My wife's terrible cooking.
My wife's terrible cooking.
Joke throughout the whole series.
Yeah. And then Rick's like, all right. And then he lets his dog in, and then the dog and the Murtaugh's cat, which is also not a key difference, but he's a cat. The Murtaughs are cat people, and Riggs is a.
Yeah. Well, I don't think Murtaugh's in anything, people. He probably doesn't even want a cat.
Yeah.
Probably. It's probably the kids.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Murtaugh just wants like the quiet. I mean, cats are quiet, but like.
Well.
In comparison to most dogs, cats are like the much more self-reliable.
Right.
Murtaugh wants an empty nest.
Yeah. Yeah. But Riggs gets invited into the Murtaugh's dinner, and then from there, that's the end of the movie.
Yes.
They have each other. They're family at this point.
And speaking on that, if you've read the script, the original script ends with them very explicitly going their separate ways.
Oh.
Now, as like I've been saying, this movie is about their relationship and like how awesome, well, obviously how awesome their relationship is in general, but like specifically like the banter and the dynamic they have. So Richard Donner's like, I'm not ending it like that.
You can't break them up.
No,
Yeah.
they have to be together. Now, a sequel wasn't planned for a while. You can see this in interviews. Well, first of all, actors probably like can't legally say like, oh, we're making a sequel for this or whatever until we make a notch. But Mel Gibson and Richard Donner, those are the two interviews I primarily watched. They both said like, I really don't know if like we even want to do a sequel.
Yeah.
But he wanted them to like end up together.
Yeah. Okay.
But they did film the original ending of them going their separate ways. And if you have it depends on the copy, but specifically for Lethal Weapon 4, at least the copy I have, it's a bonus feature. As you can see the first movie's original ending of them going their separate ways. You can probably find it on YouTube, I'm guessing too. But even without the sequels, you just need them to be together.
Oh yeah.
Like that's the movie.
That's what it's about.
That's the movie.
It's fine. Yeah.
Is finding like that friendship. That's his reason to like go on, is his community that he now discovers. There's a lot of elements about this film that I want to talk about that aren't necessarily plot, because I think I think plot is very important story wise, but atmosphere is a lot more important in terms of film, in my opinion. Does that sound
atmosphere over plot? Is that what you said?
I think plot is more important for a story, but like atmosphere is just as important for a film.
Oh yeah, vibes.
Right.
Yeah.
Because like, yeah, there are, in quotes, objective things you can do to make a story better, but like you can make an hour and a half, like David Lynch, Eraserhead. I mean, of course, there's a plot in there, but it's for the atmosphere.
Yeah.
That's why you watch.
Yeah,
a David
that's
Lynch
why horror movies are so effective, is because their atmosphere is so but it keeps you on edge.
You're right. It's for the atmosphere. So I think there's a lot of great things in Lethal Weapon. Obviously, like plot wise, we just discussed, but atmosphere wise, and a lot of it comes down to more of like the character acting to me. I already mentioned I liked the really bad, quote unquote, bad acting from a lot of like character actors. But one actor I really want to show, I want to pull up his name actually, dude, the chief or the captain of the police squad. throughout the entire films is like the ultimate police captain.
He really only shows up twice.
He shows up more frequently in the sequels.
Okay.
But he is just like the epitome, like, I have an ulcer from dealing with all of you idiots. None of you guys are ever listening.
He's like Joe Pantoliano, the guy that plays
It's Steve Kahan, by the way,
Steve,
who is the captain in the Lethal Weapon movies.
the captain from Bad Boys is who I'm talking about.
Yeah, is that Ralphie?
Yeah, Ralphie. Yeah,
Ralphie. Another Goonies actor, Richard Donner.
Yeah,
Which isn't that weird? Ralphie is like one of the dummy brothers in the Goonies.
that is crazy.
And then you see him in The Sopranos, and you're like, "This is
That
the
guy?
worst person I've ever seen."
The
Next to
Cypher from The
Oliver
Matrix?
Schulze, who's not here to produce the short film, but it's okay. Just a quick 6-hour delay. Yeah, Steve Kahan. Like, if you just look up his movies, the first like 4 are all Lethal Weapon and Conspiracy Theory. But I just think he's a great character actor. Like you said, he's not really that. He doesn't frequent the first movie that much, but in the sequels, he doesn't have a lot of screen time, but he just leaves such a great impression. Just like I think pretty much most people in Lethal Weapon leave to me a positive impression. We always talk
they
about,
leave an impression.
They leave an impression for sure.
Yeah,
Which, okay, like if you think about it from a filmmaking standpoint, I remember I had a professor for casting specifically, and she was like, if you have like a waiter, like a one-line waiter, you shouldn't remember what they look like in the next scene.
right.
You like, they're made to be forgettable to not distract you from Mel Gibson and Danny Glover, which I totally get and I agree with to an extent. But like I said, it's so I just love how memorable like the bad acting is to certain things. So when it's not like directly, like, I don't want Gibson, I don't want Riggs or Murtaugh to be bad actors.
If the focus people are fine.
Yeah, I'm fine if the waiter gives like a weird ass
Yeah.
delivery. That makes it awesome.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Another thing that I want to touch on that I didn't really think about until preparing for this podcast. So for me, thematically, as I said, this movie, at the end of the day, this movie is about Riggs and Murtaugh and their relationship. So that's what I spent like most of my time thinking about in terms of approaching this movie. But one thing I want to mention, I'll be honest, like I really haven't thought about it much, but it's very clear to me that it's there, is there is definitely, if I put my thinking cap on, I can figure out, but there's for sure some sort of like theme or message involving like the military and their, because
like drug profiteering.
The drug dealers being criminals. I mean, the drug dealers being special ops agents, obviously as like a plot device makes it more that like they're scary. Yeah. They have access to like the crazy weapons, the helicopters, obviously.
Singular.
Yeah. Helicopter. And they're also just like smart combatant. Like they're not just nameless stormtroopers that can be shot off. I mean, they are, but like not Gary Busey, the head guy. They're smart guys, but there's for sure probably some sort of ideology I didn't even like realize in there until recently that has to do with the drug dealers being veterans.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
What is your breakdown? What's your take on that?
I think it's got something to do with,
have you thought about that before, by the way? Because I haven't really thought about it.
I thought about, like, I wrote down in my notes that it talked about, it had something to say about, like, it's got a lot to say.
Yeah.
And one of the things I wasn't expecting to say was, like, critiquing war profiteering. Like, we're about to go into Desert Storm at this point.
Right.
Like in late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, it's 87.
So there's conflicts in the Middle East. So like, what does that have to say about
going post like Nixon into Reaganomics kind of that era?
Yeah, like turning war into basically a hustle.
Desert Storm was 91, so 4 years.
So people profiteering from what they did in Vietnam, and them being the bad guys, I think is important because war is bad.
Mhm.
And if you go to war and you're stealing is like you're stealing and you're dealing drugs because of that war,
Right.
kind of crazy. It also links to what the CIA was doing in Central America
Yeah.
with them setting up
And like the banana trade.
yeah
Yeah.
and like the cocaine trade
Yeah.
as well.
This conversation had me like kind of think about earlier. We talked about how like Riggs and Murtaugh would not be good cops because they never follow like any sort of due process.
Mhm.
At the same time, and like a lot of it is kind of, I guess, to a certain degree, propaganda, is
Yeah.
what they say. But now that I think about it, and I'm not disagreeing to those points, obviously, but for Lethal Weapons 1, 2, and 3, the main groups of villains are all like people with systematic power of some
Mhm.
sort. Obviously, we just saw Lethal Weapon 1 being like ex-military veterans,
Mhm.
special forces specifically. Lethal Weapon 2, we talked about like the ties to apartheid. They're South African.
Mhm.
They have diplomatic immunity. They hold power. They hold
And they're
legal-
abusing that power.
they hold legal power that they're abusing, being representatives of their country and our country, and abusing that power. And no one, like, whether you're the common man or you also have power, you literally cannot stop them.
Right.
I'm sure diplomatic immunity does not work. I'm sure if like a foreign ambassador killed someone in this country, we
Right.
could legally process them.
Yeah. There's
But
something
for
to
the
do.
movie,
Yeah.
you get it.
Mhm.
Which is also just like story writing. That's like awesome. Like your two heroes are cops. Let's have the villains be someone you literally cannot arrest.
Yeah.
That's just like so simple, but
Yeah.
so genius.
Very, very frustrating.
Yeah.
Like, and when they finally get them.
Lethal Weapon 3, you said you don't really remember that much.
No.
The main villain is an ex-dirty cop.
Okay.
Lethal Weapon 4, I think, is just the Chinese
It's like
mafia,
the triads,
essentially.
probably,
Yeah, the
yeah.
triads. Because Jet Li's in it.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jet Li.
That fight's awesome.
It is an awesome fight. So that movie, I mean, that's about like gangs. But I was just thinking like 1, 2, and 3, those are like, those villains are all have some sort of legal or like systematically, like they're considered as like highly people.
Mhm.
So I just thought it was interesting now
Yeah.
that I think about it. I never really put that together until just now because like I said, this whole movie to me is like a bromance movie.
Yeah. For sure.
But Richard Donner for sure knows how to slip in
Oh yeah.
ideologies and stuff, especially in the studio system
Mhm.
and independent system. You can obviously you have a lot more freedom because you're mostly self
That's your voice. Yeah.
financed. It's your voice. Yeah. So I guess Lethal Weapon has a lot more commentary
Yeah.
than you would think they would.
Lot more to say than
Yeah.
you would imagine.
More
from
than
an
John
80s
Wick
comedy.
ever said. I'll tell you that much. I don't know. I've only seen the first movie. But more than any other buddy cop movie, more than Tingo and Cash ever said.
Yeah.
You've never seen Tingo and Cash.
No.
Whatever. Any other things about I feel like there's a few things that I wanted to mention, but I can't remember. Are there anything at the top of your head?
I think I went through most of my notes that I had in my brain stored away.
Yeah, I think there were some other good moments that I'm trying to remember, like specifically about their performances. Oh, I love Mel Gibson's. Riggs is obviously crazy, but he has like really awesome straight face moments
Mm-hmm.
that I just found always like hilarious and kind of like sentimental to a weird way. I think after the first time that Riggs is over at the Murtaughs for family dinner and he's leaving and Murtaugh stops him, he's like, "Hey,
Do you like my wife's cooking?
do you really like my wife's cooking?" And Riggs just like stares at him for a long time, like kind of like just no emotion. He's like, "No." Just like gets back in his car. There's something about his delivery when you would think like Riggs is set up to be crazy.
Yeah.
That's like the whole point of Riggs.
Yeah, he can go really big with a scene, or he can go really
Lots
small.
of subtleties.
Yeah.
That he's really good with.
And he is a nuanced character that has a lot going on.
Yes. And like I said, a lot of people speculate that is one of the main reasons why Mel Gibson was cast as Hamlet in a movie that no one's really seen except for my middle school class.
The Kenneth Branagh one exists.
That's the best one.
Yeah,
in my
it's 4
opinion.
hours long.
It's not 4 hours long.
It's long.
Is it long?
Yeah. He won. He got nominated for best.
What'd you
adapted
rather be doing?
screenplay.
Watching Devil in the Night?
No. Calvin said to get out of here.
Get out of here. Oh my God, it's 4 hours, 2 minutes. I think we watched that in class too. Now that I think about it, why did we watch like every Hamlet movie in my English class?
I watched the 60s Romeo plus Juliet, or Romeo and Juliet, and then
the Bosler one. Bosler?
it's not actually him. It might be.
Romeo plus Juliet.
Yeah.
With Leo.
With Leo and Claire Danes.
I think that's Bosler.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's just crazy. Anyway, any more thoughts on Lethal Weapon?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head. I'm sure eventually we'll do a Lethal Weapon 2 because that's honestly, I prefer that one.
Oh,
yeah, this one's fine.
That's
no, I'm kidding. I love this movie. Lethal Weapon 2, I just think has a lot of, it delves more into the comedy, which
is what you want.
Because their relationship is already established.
Right.
So now they already love each other. Let's just annoy each other in the second one. And then we bring in Joe Pesci, who is somehow even more annoying than the two of them. And quick thing, Joe Pesci based his performance off of an annoying kid he ran into in Frontierland at either Disneyland or one of the Disney parks.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Kevin, did you have any thoughts on Lethal Weapon or like anything you found interesting? You don't have to, you can say no.
I would give it B minus.
A B minus. Oh, that rating leads me into something as well.
Mm-hmm.
We have a letterbox that we're pairing for this. Unfortunately, Oliver isn't here with us, but we thought it'd be fun that we each give whatever movie we talk about. We want each of the four of us to give a star rating for, correct?
Sure.
Or is it just the two of us?
You're thrusting this on me in the moment.
I think it would be fun if the four of us each rated it and we just did the average rating.
Okay.
Could we do that?
Sure.
What do you rate it?
4 stars and a heart.
Yeah, I give it 4 stars and a heart. What about you?
3.
Okay. We'll
see what Oliver
it's
thinks.
5 stars. So.
Oliver, I know we talked about it since he'd seen it. That he prefers Die Hard as a Christmas action movie, or this to Die Hard as a Christmas action movie.
He prefers Lethal Weapon as a Christmas action movie?
Yeah.
That's so interesting because I do not think of Lethal Weapon takes place during Christmas, but Die Hard's plot revolves. People already argue, is Die Hard a Christmas movie or not?
This is opening a whole can of worms.
Die Hard involves more Christmas.
Yeah.
He literally it's Christmas Day. It's about they're at a Christmas party. Mm-hmm. He says ho, ho, ho.
Right.
Lethal Weapon just has Christmas trees sometimes.
Yeah. But he did say that this was good, not great, in his opinion.
What does he know? All right. Well, that was episode Lethal Weapon for the Best Boys Film
the official
Club.
episode 1 of our
film reviews.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or discussions rather.
All right. Yeah. Thank you all for watching and listening. Join us back here next week. You could find us on any audio platforms and YouTube. And you could follow us on Letterboxd. We have that linked in our YouTube bio as well. All right.
Awesome. Peace out, y'all.
Thank you.